This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not provide medical or legal advice. Please consult with a qualified professional before making any decisions regarding your health or legal situation.
On the subject of marijuana in particular. That is the purpose of this meeting, ladies and gentlemen, to lay the foundation for a nationwide campaign by you to demand by law such compulsory education.
High in the Ozark Mountains, it's the Greene County Podcast with Mike and Mason.
Mike, Mason, Greene County Podcast. Today is going to be kind of a house cleaning episode.
We've been doing this for a while. We haven't, right? But we haven't really discussed, brands or strains that much. We talk about growing. We talk about the types of cannabis. But
we've given everyone the keys, but we haven't really talked about what our personal favorites are.
Exactly. We've been keeping that close to the chest. So
when we hit the topics, I think we kind of talk a little bit about what we're into, but I guess today we'll talk about what we're into.
Yeah, today you're going to learn what Mike and Mason love to enjoy in their spare time.
I'll go first. Obviously, I've made mention that I have a very big problem with concentrates.
It's not a problem.
But I do, and it's not that I do definitely partake in flower. I am a cultivator, so that's my own stuff, and I love that. I actually I looked out on these autos that were freaks that I had, and it looks like they're gonna produce some pretty sizable weight for what I thought was some very, very, very stunted plants.
Really?
Wasn't just it's just autogenetics, man. Sometimes
you never know.
That, and I put 5 down. I only had 3 really do anything, and then 2 of the 1 looked great. It's just like perfect. And then the other 2 kind of, and I was like, man. And then all of a sudden they just turned, and they're flowering right now, and they're going crazy, which is good. That's exactly what I want. But so as far as
what strains are you growing?
Right now, I think, I can't remember what this one was. It was one of the freebies that I got. I got Girl Scout cookies or green crack or something like that.
the basic bees.
They give you the 5 free, and I think I was like, I'm going to check these out in between because I'm going to do, the next round is going to be my 1980 brand that I got at the Greenlight 420 Festival. Or,
Heck yeah.
Not Greenlight, Treehouse 420 Festival from that breeder, and he had the 1980 photos, and I've just been sitting on and waiting until I felt like I had a lot of time to kind of mess with it, and that will be next. So I kind of wanted to pad what I had because I know that I'll be sitting for about 5 months for those photos. Yeah. As far as strands go, I'm open. I know everyone's now kind of well, indica, sativa, it doesn't really matter. It's all hybrids anymore.
It's the terpene profile.
Well, that's also part of it too. But I wouldn't go as far as to say it doesn't matter completely, because recently I had some sativa gummies from Vibe, and they were 25 mil per, and man, they put a hand on my ass hard, dude. and I usually with edibles, they almost always make me sleepy, so I'm always trying to find ones that don't. That I'm like, oh man, I feel like I smoked. You know what I mean? And those Vibe ones,
they're good.
Were fire.
They
were
uppers.
Good. I wouldn't say I was crazy bouncing off the wall, but I wasn't passing out, and I felt it, which is what I wanted. And that's rare for me just because of the way my body metabolizes it. So I'm not as far as strains and stuff, I'm oh, cool, that tastes good. Now, when it comes to concentrates, I'm probably more as a strand guy. I know, that's what I want.
Do you have a go-to?
Sometimes, recently, and has been for a while, Proper and Vibe are my 2 brands.
Proper.
Those 2 are just, they're always going to be on the high end as far as cost, but if you ever see a deal on Proper or Vibe, take it, because, dude, their dabs are just unbelievably good. They're consistent. A lot of people are like diamonds in the sauce. I sometimes will go that way, but I'm more of a batter guy, especially with those 2 companies, because it's just consistent. The flavor's always there. The high's always there.
It's always quality.
Yeah. And again, I know this sounds bad I'm always like price first. Well, I don't want to say that because, there are good concentrates out there that are low cost. You can get what, 20, 25 a gram.
Yeah, I don't think you're price first. I think you just are always on the lookout for good deals for what you are already looking
There's
for.
There's always like weighted things.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, those are normally 45. You can get 2 for, 70. That's a pretty good deal. Or, well, I don't have any money right now. But I need some dabs. So I guess I'm just going to get these. They're okay, and then you just wait till you have a lot of money again and you buy the good ones. I think it was like all over the place answer for what I go as far.
No, that's good. I mean, it was eclectic.
I think you and I are just kind of like the way we treat marijuana the same way we treat music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially you and I are very similar in that regard because we both have a very big breadth of musical influences, what we're listening to, what changes. Some days it's heavy, some days it's cry yourself to sleep,
Yeah, sometimes you just got to celebrate.
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, and so I think that's kind of the way I approach marijuana too.
Yeah, that's why I think it's super important to like remember the strains and remember the terpene profiles because that's what I'm trying to get back to. Like when I'm trying all the different stuff.
When we come back from our break, we're going to figure out if there is actually a way to track that. Next, Green County Podcast. You brought up a good point.
Yeah,
the tracking whether it's the terpene profile, if it was an indica or sativa, the brand that makes it,
journal your weed experience, right?
Well, let's flip the scripts here for a second in regards to microbrews, right?
Oh yeah, there's
an
apps
app
and stuff
to basically go through because there's billions of different beers and breweries now and all that stuff. So for a long time, when that started to kind of pick up, there was an app that you could go and figure out.
Yeah.
I know there is a bud identifier app and it will help you kind of identify based on what they say, or if you get it tested and then you can say what it is or your breeder tells you what it is and they have all the testing stuff.
Yeah.
Is there an app that you can actually track your usage?
I honestly don't know, but I think this would be a great opportunity for anybody who knows how to do some programming to hit us up. Let's collaborate.
We can make $1 million together, my people.
The Green County Weed Journal.
Yeah, that would be great. I think we should figure that out.
That's a really good idea.
But man, we'd have to get a lot of information in there because there's so many different.
So thankfully we have a system already here in place. They have to, all of the product has to be cataloged. So when you buy stuff, it's got its terpene profile. It's got its CBD, THC
so
breakdowns.
Can we integrate that into our program?
I think we could just like scan barcodes or something.
I was like that, or it would be twofold because Discogs, the record record site that I use to catalog my vinyl collection, that's kind of how it's done. It's brilliant because it's not only it's user driven essentially, but the user could be the label. Could be the artist. If you're an indie artist, you put your own release up. But then it also could be someone like me that gets like, Dustin's new record, right? And you're a very small artist and you only pressed 100 records. And I'm like, oh man, Dustin's the man. I got to get his record. I love this guy. And I get your record. Then I go to Discogs and obviously that barcode's not been scanned.
Right.
So then I have to import the information myself. Take a photo of the record, take a photo of the barcode, put in all the
user-generated data stuff.
All that stuff. And then eventually, hopefully, if you're big enough, someone else will buy your record and then they'll go to put it in and they'll find my submission, add that to their collection. Down the road, a mod will say, okay, there are 2 of these, merge them, or mistakes on this one or whatever. But dude, we just came up with $1 million marijuana idea. Hit us up. If you come up with this after this airs, you owe us 10% by law. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. You might as well work together with us so we can help you. We'll earn that 10%, but so
you have to give it to us.
Like Leafy and...
So I use Reddit right now for especially firsthand experiences. Yeah. Reddit is where I get most of my stuff for strains because people are like, hey, I bought this thing from this brand and...
Wait, it's already been done.
It's
like they don't have it.
Yeah, he clicked the link. He clicked the link. It doesn't go to anything. It doesn't
go anything. But basically what their app says, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give them any love because we're going to take it.
We're going to steal
We
this
already
idea.
have it first, whatever. But it helps you track and learn which types dosing and adjusting methods work for you. So I guess
I will say, if you're listening and you have an app already that we're not aware of, guess what? Nobody else is. So maybe talk to us about it. Let's help promote it.
Yeah, and give us a cut.
Give us a cut. We want our 10%. Oh man.
So yeah, that would be a good way, I think, to track, you know, based on what we are doing. Because again, marijuana does make you forgetful.
It can. It definitely
sometimes
can.
you're like, what was that stuff? You're asking me what I'm growing. I still don't have an idea. I'm down there every day, and I can't tell you right now. That's why I write things down. But I guess at this point we can take a little break and come back and talk about.
I want to talk about my strains.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We heard all about Mike's stuff.
Talk about your, why don't I talk about
Mason,
your stuff?
who cares about him?
Mason's you got a new strain every day, just like a woman. We'll be back. Green County Podcast. He changes strains just like he changes women. Now it's Mason's turn to talk about.
The only ladies I need are the ones I'm growing in a tent.
Wait, you got to tell me your name's Mary Jane? No way.
Dude, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So you find out she's psycho.
Yeah, right. Yeah. She's not the right percentage for me.
That's not your real name. That's not your real name.
Oh, man. No. So I'm currently growing, right? So a couple strains I've been growing. I have my own personal strain. I don't know what it is. I've been calling it DFS or first strain, right? That's what it's called. It's named by my friend. All I know is it's amazing. It's over 26%, and it literally grows like a weed. No joke.
They are weeds.
I completely topped, and I'm not like talking about just like fimming or anything, just like a little bit. I literally chopped off like the top third of my plants. They were just getting too big, and I was like, whatever.
I'm not going to be on that.
Yeah. So I chopped it, I bundled them all up, and I just stabbed them into this thing of dirt that I had in the tin as well. Nothing else was growing in there. I watered it twice, and they are flourishing. So I'm keeping that strain. I don't know what it is. We should switch. We should exchange clones because this thing is amazing. It grows no matter what you do. I've literally not watered it for a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Guy right off the top of my head that you should actually be giving these clones to.
Oh yeah,
how lazy he is. I'm not gonna say no.
Okay, but then also I recently grew some strawberry banana auto.
Okay.
And it was amazing. I use it a lot for pain. I will smoke it, and sciatica pain is gone. It's
That's good.
It honestly, it's the most effective strain I've ever had for pain in my life. So
where do you get your seeds from?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on a different episode when we talk about seeds and picking.
Breeding? Okay, I guess.
Yeah, because there's a couple places I've gotten them from, so I'm not sure where those are from.
That's the first question I had, and luckily I knew a guy that helped me in that regard, because you're kind of like, well, can I get them? Well, Missouri was kind of weird when we made it.
It was, yeah.
Now there's one thing we have not talked about as far as our personal use. I mean, we're both pretty forward that we like concentrates, we like flower. Sometimes we'll eat it, but
I love vapes, man.
Mason is a vape guy, dude. That's your daily.
I am. Those Rove carts,
the diamond, live sauce.
The diamond Rove carts blow me away every time. They're so tasty too. They're so tasty.
Vapes, man. The closest thing a dab in a vape is those Roves are incredible.
Yeah.
But as far as like use, are you a roll guy? Are you a pipe guy? Are you a bong guy? Are you a
So I was mostly, almost exclusively, a bong guy, because it's a smoother, cleaner,
filtered.
Yeah, cooler. Yeah, it's better for your throat. I used to vape all the time too, and that just became a lot of work, honestly. So I do that. I've been doing a lot of pre-rolls recently, and some cones. I don't like rolling normal anymore, like hand roll. If it's not cones, I don't even smoke it anymore. I'm like, I'll pass. I'm just joking. I'm not that.
Do you have a bum box?
A what?
Bum box?
Is that one of the ones that loads it?
Well, yeah. Well, you can get ones that are like 100 load. Like you put 100 codes in there, you drop
and then
it shakes.
No, that's a good idea.
There are smaller versions though. Like the one I have is a 6-shooter.
I've seen those.
You can do 6 at a time. I think 6, 4, 3. I think, or 6, 4, 3, 2, or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the point is, as a cultivator, dude, I constantly have cones, but I got a big problem with blunts. That's my biggest.
smoke so many blunts, my friend. It's insane.
No, don't say it that way.
Okay, it's not. You're not Snoop Dogg level. That's true.
I don't know.
But
Now on salary.
every time we go out to an event or something, you're like, check this bad boy. I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what else I've been getting into? Some of the weird new edible stuff, or like the stirrables. Have you tried that?
Yeah, I've had one of those.
It's like THC powder. You can mix it in literally with anything.
Yeah.
Your drink. How about this? What about your gravy? What about you just pour it on some eggs, man? What about you lightly sprinkle it on some cinnamon toast,
the
man?
And gravy, and then you pour.
Dude, can you imagine?
I mean, I just
throw it in your biscuit mix, man. It's baked in. It's so easy to cook with. It does, like when you put it in drinks and stuff, it kind of does have a little bit of I think like an alcohol flavor.
Yeah, it's
an evaporated.
The distillate.
Yeah.
It's that distillate in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I tasted it in the edibles too. I did finally get myself a Wampet.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got to try that out.
I'm not throwing it on the ground though. If you're not familiar with, if you've probably seen it maybe on like a reel, like this company, I think they're out of Florida. They're called Wampet Glass. Mason actually was like, yeah, check these dudes out. So I looked it up, and these dudes take these glass bongs and literally like throw them against trash cans
down an alleyway,
hit baseballs,
run over them with a car,
took them into a junkyard and just started destroying everything.
They do not break. They do not break at all. I've never seen one break.
I have seen one.
Okay, I bet it was hilarious.
The next level was they were going around and saying, here's $100 if you can break this thing.
Okay.
And like I've seen a bunch of dudes not, but then they had this one dude, he kind of looked like almost like a Samoan, like he was massive.
Oh, yeah.
Massive dude. And that
like the Rock.
That kid, man, he worked on that thing hard. I mean, threw it into the ground, threw it into the. I mean, it was after probably like 6 to 10 hard throws that it finally cracked it broke the top off.
Yeah.
But I mean, like an accidental drop, it's not going to be a problem. So that's the point.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love it. It feels solid. It's fire. It made my e-nail dab as good as it possibly can be.
If you don't want to throw it, we're gonna have to get another one so I can test it.
Hey, Wampet guys, send us one. We'll see if we can break it.
Yeah,
I can break mine.
I'll throw it at everything.
Yeah. But as always, like I said, there's always a million ways to skin a cat. So however you do it, send us suggestions, Green County Podcast.
Yeah. If you need some help, hit us up at greencountypodcast.com. We got tons of information. We've got recipes. Oh my God, there's some really good recipes. So, and we'll teach you how to make canna butter, all of the above. It's all waiting for you at greencountypodcast.com.
So that our children are obliged to learn the truth, because it is only through knowledge that we can safely protect them.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not provide medical or legal advice.